Alright, the most amazing thing is going to be that I'm going to do this with one hand. But here is a copy of Steve Miller Band. It's what we like to call roached. Just covered in mold. It's left in a box. It's got a bit of a warp to it. I've got a towel on the bottom of the sink, and I've got a towel on the edge of the sink. Turn the water on, use the sprayer. I try to just get the grooves and not, the label gets wet, but I don't spray it. The water is almost as hot as it'll go. It's steaming. I almost think the most important part is that first rinse with the water. Got a wet cotton towel. Lay the record flat on the ground. This is what they call a lap sponge. You can see all the grease and grime I've taken off there. So whenever I use it, I fold it to a new spot. A little bit of Dawn. And I just rub it in a circular motion. At first, it almost feels like there's no grooves because they're just filled with gunk. And then as you rub more and more, you start to kind of feel the grooves kind of pull you into place. It's kind of hard to describe. I can see that the soap is actually kind of brown. Lets me know it's working. Just by pressing that down on a wet towel, it really kind of helps hold it down. Only way I can do this one-handed. I just now started to feel those grooves kind of pull me into place. I don't actually wipe over the label. And the labels seem to be fine as long as they don't stay wet for a long time. Alright, I think that's good. Kind of suctions up off the... Nice and hot again. Same as the first rinse. Then I take it, kind of do one of these. This part's harder to do with one hand, but I've noticed if a record is kind of got the kind of bowl-shaped dip in it, if I get it wet with hot water, it kind of warps back down. It's hard to describe. This part's hard to do with one hand. I'd be able to pull it out a little bit better if I had two hands on this thing right now. But it's actually getting straighter. I literally usually bang it on my hand. Knock the water off. Goes down onto a dry towel. Then I take another dry folded towel, and just like I was doing here on this one, I just do it over here and dry it now. Kind of pat the label. Sorry, I know it's kind of dark in this corner. Flip it over. the label. The record doesn't stick. I'm going to set this down. Just for a second here. I see a little spot of mold in that corner. Let me get it with my fingernail. It was on the very start of the record, not where the grooves are. Anyway, turned out a lot nicer if you remember what this record looked like at first. Now it's, I mean, this record, it all depends on how it started, of course, but this record is actually looking pretty nice. Some fine hairline scratches, but the record was really janky to start with, so. And then even though it feels dry to the touch, I gently set it in the drying rack. That's it. That's how I wash my records.